call to order the City of Allegan City Council meeting for Monday, October 13th, 2025. And Joel, roll call, please.
Yes. Councilmember Westover.
Present.
Councilmember Walker.
Here.
Councilmember Canales.
Here.
Councilmember Hooker.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Hands.
Present.
Mayor Perigo.
Here.
You have a quorum.
All right, thank you. For those who are able, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, agenda item 4A is approval of the regular council meeting agenda for October 13th, 2025. And as Joel just mentioned, there is an amendment.
I'd make a motion to approve the agenda with the amendment 11E8. Support.
All right, it's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Agenda item 5A is approval of the regular council meeting minutes from September 22nd, 2025. And those are all in the packet.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes from September 22nd.
Thank you.
And support.
All right, it's been moved and supported. Any further discussion on that? No? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 5B is approval of the special council meeting minutes from September 24th, 2025. Can I have a motion to approve those?
I make a motion to approve the special council meeting minutes.
Support.
All right, moved and supported. Any discussion amongst council? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Moving down to the next agenda item that has discussion for tonight is 8A, which is a public hearing, second reading, and adoption of Ordinance 531 to amend the City Zoning Ordinance regarding fences.
Thank you, Mayor. As City Council may recall, earlier this year, you adopted a complete rewrite of our zoning ordinance. As we went through that process over the past year, we inadvertently left out the section that dealt with fences. So that's what this ordinance 531 corrects. You've had your first reading at your previous meeting, which was September 22nd. Tonight is the second reading and public hearing regarding this. During the second reading, there were comments regarding the possibility of regulating temporary fences to make sure people don't put up temporary fences as permanent fences. So we are adding the following phrasing at the end of subsection I, and permanently affixed to the ground. The previous part of that section, it's in your packet, just says that, all fences, so must be in good condition. And then that's the ending of that sentence. And then also there's a comment about subsection D talked about fences or retaining walls, and the question was, why are we talking about retaining walls? And so we talked that over with Lori Costello, our zoning administrator, and she and I came to agreement that we could just strike the words or retaining walls and not weaken that ordinance. So those are the two changes we made. So this does require a public hearing this evening and then a motion to adopt ordinance 531. Any questions for staff?
No. All right, at 6:04, I will open the floor for any public comments on this adoption of ordinance 531. And if you have a comment on this, please approach the podium and state your name and address. I do not see anyone approaching, so I do not think there will be a public comment on this item tonight. So I will go ahead and close the public hearing. Right, were there any other questions from council? I think we kind of went through it numerous times. All right, can I get a motion to adopt ordinance 531?
I'll make a motion that we adopt ordinance 531.
And support.
All right, it's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Agenda item number 9 is the first public comment section of this evening. If you have a general public comment that you would like to share tonight, please step up to the podium and state your name and address, and we limit to 3 minutes. I see. All right. I see no public comment. All right, I will go ahead and move then to our next agenda item for discussion tonight is 11A1, which is a review of the October 2025 Downtown Development Authority meeting minutes. And I have this one because I was able to show up at this month's meeting. And then I'm going to completely draw a blank on it, Parker, because it's been one of those days for me. So would you want to help me out, please?
I would love to, Madam Mayor. We reviewed the downtown Allegan master plan. We've been working on that for a couple of months now as we go to update for the next 5 years, the previous 2020 to 2025 plan. We also did a review of the completed crosswalk project along Water Street, the installation of 2 new crosswalks there, as well as the repair and upgrade, I guess I'll call it, to the ADA ramps along Water Street there as well. And there was a third thing while I scroll for it as well. But apparently it wasn't that important to either of us, so it was a good meeting. We're making those steps toward updating the master plan. We've got a joint meeting coming up with our planning commission as well to adhere to the redevelopment ready certification for the city of Allegan. We have to hold a joint meeting, and we'll talk about the planning process of the downtown master plan at that time too. Oh, Joel's reminding me. Thank you, sir. We also discussed the downtown Allegan parking study that was done by Mohammed and Ryan, city staff members in-house here. That will be a part of the master plan process. And then we also held a discussion on the sale of the county overflow lot located at the corner of Cutler and Water Streets. Just keeping the DDA abreast of that conversation as it goes through the planning commission process because it is within their DDA boundaries, and that development will play a crucial role in the DDA master plan. So
All right, thank you.
that's all.
All right. 11A2 is a review of the August and October 2025 Airport Advisory Board minutes, and Mayor Pro Tem Hance.
All right. In this current October 6th meeting, we were discussing quite a bit again about the possibility of a fly-in, setting a date of June 20th and a rain-out date of June 21st. Reviewed some materials from a person on the board that had gone to the balloon festival and was reviewing kind of how they were doing stuff. The bailing proposal for the runway has been they gave us a little bit more information, but we're still working with that person to see if we could contract with them to bale hay, maybe a way to bring in some income for the airport and also get the lawn mowed. So we also reviewed that the Pappy baffles that we approved at our last meeting, new hangar update that they're ready and to be leased out. I got 3 members of the board that terms expire in December, so we're checking on who's going to retain. We had 2 yeses and 1 is absent from the meeting. And that we only have 1 available hangar for lease of the old hangars, and I think there's still 7 openings on the new hangars that we're just getting those started. And Doug also let us all know that he was retiring on 10/31.
Great, thank you. Moving down to the next agenda item, which is 11C1, is a request to adopt Resolution 25.29 to purchase, acquire, and construct improvements to the sanitary sewer system and to publish a notice of intent to issue revenue bonds.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to kick this off. For the past several months, we've been talking about how to finance necessary improvements in the Rossman Park neighborhood, the remaining streets in our downtown, Grand Street, improvements to the water treatment or the wastewater treatment plant, et cetera. As we've gone through this, we've talked about the need to issue revenue bonds for our sewer and water programs to help cover all the portions of the water and sewer costs, as well as some of the road costs as well. As we go through this process, we work with a bonding consultant as well as bonding counsel to make sure everything's on the up and up. So I'm going to invite Roger Sweats from Dickinson Wright to come to the microphone, and Stephen Burke from MCFI to come to the microphone as well. They'll be able to go over the process we go through. As I mentioned to council last week, or the last meeting, this is still very high level. This is the first step. When we do these notice of intents, this kind of gets the ball rolling. It gets it out in the public. But this is an opportunity also for you to just be educated a little bit more about this process. We have used these two firms for eons for city financing projects. So they're very familiar with the city of Allegan, even though this is probably the first time this council has laid eyes on these two gentlemen.
Yeah, thank you, Joel, Mayor and council members. I'm Roger Sweats. I'm an attorney with Dickinson Wright. And as Joel mentioned, they call what I do bond counsel work, which just means I do all the legal work to kind of take you from start to finish through the bonding process to comply with state law, federal tax law, so the bonds can be tax exempt, and then federal securities law. And then we issue a legal opinion at the end that state law and the bond market will both require. It's called an unqualified legal opinion, saying that the bonds have been validly issued and that they're tax exempt. And then the underwriters in the bond market will rely on that in marketing the bonds. Steve Burke is from MFCI. Steve and his firm do all the financial advising to the city, giving you financial advice for the bond issue. Federal law very strictly separates, says, I can only give legal advice, and then Steve gives the financial advice. So I'll give you just some brief comments on the financial, or the legal aspect of this, and then turn it over to Steve to talk about the financial part of it. The resolutions you have tonight are what we call notice of intent resolutions. And as Joel said, this is just kicking off the process, and we're proposing here that the city would issue revenue bonds. These are bonds that can only be paid from the revenues of the respective systems. So that's why you have two resolutions. One will just pay for water, one will just pay for sewer, and then only water revenues can be used for the one and only sewer revenues for the other. It does not expose the city's general fund, and for that reason does not count against the city's debt limits. And so because of the size of the financings and other things, we've had some fairly extensive conversations with Joel and Tracy. I won't revisit all that, but because of the size here, we want to keep this off the city's debt limit. This is really kind of the route that we need to go for this kind of a project for the city. The notice of intent is the council's first statement to the public that we intend to issue bonds, and it has two purposes. One, to tell them what you're gonna finance. So you'll see in the resolution, water system improvements, and then some examples, but not an exhaustive list, but examples of what that'll include, and then the same for the sewer. And then it also sets a maximum dollar amount that can be borrowed pursuant to the notice. And then once the resolution is adopted, if you do that tonight, there will be a notice that goes into the newspaper to inform the public, and then it starts a 45-day period that people could petition for an election on the bond issues. If sufficient petitions are not received in 45 days, then the council just moves forward with the project by resolution of the council. So this is something we want to get out of the way early, because when you put together the time it takes to get you a resolution, get it adopted, put into the paper, and for 45 days to run. We do these resolutions at a not to exceed amount. So like it's 7,270 for water and 10,040,000 for sewer. That's a not to exceed amount. Can't go higher than that. Does not obligate the city to that amount. And because there's it'd take you 60 days to kind of redo this, we want to use numbers that are safely high, just in case there are some unexpected higher results when bids come in. Because once you have bids come in, there's going to be a hold period on those bids, and you've only got so much time in order to close on the bonds before you would lose those bids. So we do want to give, so there is cushion built into these numbers if you had some questions about the amounts. Does not obligate you to go to that amount, and this will come back to the city council for 2 decisions that are absolutely necessary before the city could go forward and issue bonds. I will have another resolution for you called the bond resolution. It'll be a much larger resolution, one for each of these issues, that actually gives the final legal authority to move forward and issue bonds. That still may have a bit of a not-to-exceed number in it, and it will delegate to the mayor and to staff the authority to finalize the bond issues and to award bids for the bonds. But that will come back to you, and most likely you will not see that until there are actually bids in hand, so you know what the project's gonna cost. And then the second crucial aspect is you will have to award the bids for the project. As bond counsel, it would cause me great concern for you to move forward without bids, so, that's really, I think, your key decision as to deciding whether or not you're comfortable with how things are going is when you award that bid. Because that's gonna be the key decision I'm gonna look for, and that Steve's gonna look at to finally size the bond issue and then move things out to the bond market. We do plan, I believe, on selling these by a public sale, right, Steve? Yeah. So, after the bond resolution is adopted and you have bids in hand, there will be a lengthy notice called an official notice of sale that'll be published in a national newspaper. That'll have, kind of the zeroed in dollar amount for the bonds, and then it'll set a date and time, and on that date and time, we will take bids from anybody in the world that wants to bid on the City of Allegan bonds. Sometimes you get 1 bid, sometimes you get 10 bids. It just depends on what the bond market's doing at the time. But what it does do for the city is that on that date and time, you've got, the most competitive, there's not a secret, sweet deal for somebody, or, you're not cutting this off to somebody. This will be a bid process, and you will then know that you've got the best financial deal on that day that you can get for the bond issue. One of the reasons we delegate to the mayor and staff the ability to finalize and award the bids is there's not a lot of decision to be made at that point in time, because state law does require you to award the bonds to the lowest bidder, and the lowest bidder calculated in a very specific way dictated by state statute. So that'll be all fairly automatic at that point in time. And so the only decision you would have is if something goes sideways with the bond market at that point in time. You could reject all bids, but then you'd have to go back to the drawing board. That's happened like once in my 30-plus year career. That's very, very rare that you would face that. But assuming you don't have a situation where you'd have to do that, it will be awarded to the lowest bidder, and then we'll prepare closing documents, and then the real project can begin as the contractor starts construction. So I'll turn it over to Steve, and then we'll be happy to take any questions you have.
Sure. Well, good evening. My name is Stephen Burke. With MFCI, so we're the financial advisor to the city. So what that means is we have a legal fiduciary responsibility to act only in the city's best interest. What that really means is, we give you all of the financing potential options. Our goal is to kind of lay out all of the numbers, and typically the math leads us to type of sale, structuring, and things like that for the city. So what we're going to ensure is that the city can pay for these within your water system revenues, and then that we are placing these in the market most efficient way possible. So if we were to issue these today, based on a 20-year final maturity, we were looking at something around 4%. If we sold them today, maybe a little less than that. Obviously, bond market, there will be volatility. We saw what happened on Friday in the stock market. By the time we get to this bond sale in January, that can change. But as of today, given the city's credit and what we would expect for these to price, I think 4% is probably a conservative estimate. So happy to answer any questions on any of the items. Roger did a great job of covering this from a high level.
Any questions?
Did we review the spread from different year amounts? I see we chose 20 years, and of course, at a lower year amount, the interest is usually significantly less by at least a couple points. how would that work out as far as being able to afford the payments? Is there a spread at all that?
We
Could be
we
it.
did, I think we looked at 20, 25, and 30. And I think we landed on 20 based on the existing analysis of your rate
Yeah,
program.
correct, and, Mayor Pro Tem, you're also correct. Yeah, the lower the term, the lower the interest rate, and so trying to reduce the exposure of the city to a much higher all-in. And once we ran our numbers through our rate system with Doug Swearis, and once you guys agreed to that rate system back in the summer, is how we came very comfortable with staff saying we can go with the 20-year lien.
And this will be slightly different, most likely slightly different than what you would see like with a mortgage, where you've got like one rate that covers the whole debt. Bonds like this, when they're sold in the market, they're broken up. So there'll be one bond for the 1 year maturity, another bond for the 2 year, 3, 4, 5, et cetera. And so, the earlier bonds will normally, in a normal market, have a lower rate on the yield curve, and the farther out bonds, a higher rate. So when Steve's giving you the 4%, that's the blended yield of all those maturities on the curve.
Any other questions? No? Okay, all right.
And just real quick, I'll offer the council, as we go through this process, as you all know, email us questions all the time. Roger and Steve are very quick to get answers back to us when we're like, play the scenario out. So if there's some questions you have for staff, we can go through the email channel, because, we're going to get to know each other well over the next 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, and I would just add, don't hesitate to do that. We're being paid to represent the city here, so make sure that you take advantage of that. The last thing we want you to do is to have doubts or concerns as you're going through this process. So always happy to chime in.
Can you go over the timeline again, please?
Yeah, you want to take that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think as we sit here today, we're looking at a reasonably close here within a month or so to having 90% plans completed. And so really what we're going to be looking for is getting those plans out to bid, getting those bids back. The timing of that, looks like bids are going out in late December, with the bid opening kind of mid-January. So based on that, awarding those bids in late January, and then going out to the bond market in early February, with a March 3rd closing is kind of what's scheduled for now. And so the city will, at the point that you sell the bonds, so currently the bond sale is scheduled for February 10th. That may change between now and then, just based on kind of the flow of bids, and if things are delayed any, we'll move back for whatever the delay is. Once you have that sale, 11 o'clock on February 10th, that's when your interest rate is locked in at that point. So the interest rate risk transfers from the city to the underwriter who purchases your bonds at that point. The closing period, 3 weeks later, is when the city actually gets the money in hand.
And for council members looking at your packet, that schedule, I believe starts on page 22 or 23. Yeah, it starts at 23 and goes on 24. The red dates and text are our engineers, so Abin Marsh, that's the construction work, the plan development. And then the black text is from our bond people, and that's the whole financial, implication.
And these will be fixed rate bonds, so that all gets locked in on that sale date, and then you'll know exactly what they're going to be, and it'll be that through the life of the bond issue.
All right, thank you. Anything else from council? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
So we are going to need, we're still on 11C1, Mayor, so we're going to need action to adopt Resolution 2529, and then after that, we'll have to introduce 11C2. I believe this presentation covers 11C2 as well, and then we just adopt that resolution at that time.
Okay. All right, can I get a motion to adopt Resolution 25.29?
I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution 25.29.
I'll second.
All right, as I say, I think I got a support down there. Any other comments, questions from council?
Is it worth discussing at all the information earlier today? Anyone?
Your questions?
Yeah, my questions, yeah.
Did you share the answers with the Hall of Council or just with the mayor pro tem?
I was gonna say, I don't.
Well, I thought you sent the answers to everyone.
I don't believe I did. I think I just
think it was
replied to
just-
everyone that was on there. But yeah, since you brought it up, that's no problem. We can go ahead and,
Yeah, then even more so, I'd like to see if,
Share that with everyone.
yeah,
if there's other discussion we should have.
sure. So very quickly for everyone on council, I received regarding this, I received 2 questions from Councilmember Will Walker. First was a discussion, it said, we had a talk on the sludge thickening return of investment, but can we look at a more detailed numbers? So staff responded to that today. So we've gone through and we've had let me find this real quick, here we go. So we had a basis of design report done by our engineer for our sludge thickener. In that basis of design report, we are going to see a reduction of 37.5% in sludge volume hauled for biosolids for the field of this, to the field for disposal. As council may know the process, you may not know the process, but everything you put down a sink or a toilet makes its way through all the pipes, ends up over at the Water Resource Recovery Facility. It goes through a handful of chambers over there. Billion, trillion bugs eat it to help digest it. It gets clarified, and the stuff that's good enough to go back out to the Kalamazoo River goes out to the Kalamazoo River. The stuff that gets, the solids that settle down, those get shipped over to Big Blue and an underground tank as well. And Doug's shaking his head, and I think he's taught me well enough to know how the process works. That Big Blue, though, then those solids add up over time, and then we have to, dispose of them. Right now, the practice is we have a firm come in, they pump it out into tankers, and then take them out to farm fields around the city, and they spray them on farm fields as fertilizer. So in fiscal year '25, the year we just finished, our audited numbers have come in. We spent $535,898.24 to haul our solids. After the installation of the sludge thickener, which is one of the things this program is going to help pay for, we will spend about $334,857. So there's going to be approximate savings of $200,000 a year, when we get this installed. It's one of the reasons why staff has pushed this. And the second question from Councilmember Walker was in regard to the capital improvement projects. We are only planning on capital improvement projects for 2026, or no, that's my statement. His question was, capital improvement continued. I understand the need for capital improvement projects, although I am uneasy with the amount of debt we will take on. Even though our water and sewer rate increases will cover the majority, due to new budgetary constraints from federal government, Michigan will need to cover a higher percentage of Medicaid and SNAP funding, and a change in corporate tax rates may reduce state revenue. I'm not so sure we can count on our local community stabilization authority checks to be as generous as they have been. With these changes coming, is it wise to also raise water and sewer rates? I'm asking for more discussion and possible pause to some and only some of our projects. So staff's response to this was, in regard to the capital improvement projects, we are only planning on the capital improvement projects for 2026. I'm going to pause here. I made that very clear in the summer discussions when we were talking about the financing plan. And I think it was Councilmember Canales who said, after we go through this, we're going to have a discussion on what we do next, if anything, because we may not have that money available for that other stuff.
Probably nothing.
Yeah. I think
Major.
nothing major. And so the projects we're doing for 2026, Rossman Park neighborhood, where we will be installing new water mains and replacing lead service lines, installing new sewer mains and lining sewer mains where appropriate, and rebuilding the roads. We received a $2.5 million grant from the state of Michigan for this work. Downtown neighborhood, where we will be installing new water mains and replacing lead service lines, and installing new sewer mains where appropriate, and rebuilding roads. And for those in the audience, when we say the downtown neighborhood, we are talking about Trowbridge Street from Locust to Walnut, and then Chestnut Street from Hubbard to Trowbridge, and Walnut Street from Hubbard to Trowbridge. Grand Street, where we will be replacing the water main and the sewer main, in line the sewer main. Water Resource Recovery Facility, where we will be installing a sludge thickener that I just discussed previously, and Water Street, where we will line the sewer main. The planned water and sewer rate increases that we discussed this summer will cover the full amount of water and sewer improvements in 2026, as well as a majority of the road costs. The remaining road costs will be covered by the general fund. This means we are not bonding for road improvements planned for 2026 because we have money in general fund to cover the remaining road costs. As it relates to future federal and state budgeting as it affects the local community stabilization authority, please remember that Tracy, our finance director, and I never budget for the full LCSA. We are very conservative when planning for our revenue. We don't plan or budget for grants coming in. We don't plan for the additional payments that we get from the LCSA. Also, in the FY26 state budget that the state just signed last week, it appears, because this is an alert I received from the Michigan Municipal League, which the city is a member of, it appears that the city will receive an additional $263,100 in road funding, which is positive for us. This will only help in covering the road funding for 2026. All in all, all in all, staff has put together a solid financial plan so we can continue to provide the appropriate infrastructure to the residents and businesses of the city of Allegan in 2026. Any questions about the financing plan that you approved, the comments made by my email that I sent back to Councilmember Walker? And I appreciate the emails, like I said from day one. Please send me emails when you get the packet instead of, waiting till the day of. Just makes life a little bit easier for staff.
Any comments, thoughts after hearing that additional information?
Back to the sludge, Doug and Joel, whoever.
Hey, Doug, will you walk up to the microphone? So if you speak into a microphone? Thank you.
When you first brought this up back in the spring, I don't recall if we looked at, well, I understand that all the influx of outside trucked-in waste, if that was eliminated, is that enough of a profit center there to alone justify this, the thickener? Because I understand that even our municipal generated waste.
Are you saying eliminate the trucked-in waste?
Was that looked at? I know that the efficiency of our own waste would be compromised anyway, because it is now.
Right, I mean, the more that is brought in, the more biosolids that are generated and have to be hauled off-site. So, yes, whether it's trucked-in waste or waste generated from city residents, the more that we treat, the more biosolids we generate. No, it was not looked at, to reduce trucked-in waste because that brings in revenue above and beyond what we pay for the biosolids removal. Doing the thickener reduces the amount that we would haul and still allows us to take in the amount of product, the revenue of that product to the city. So, and in fact, with this giving us more space, there is a possibility that more could even be brought in. Or if future industry expands in Allegan, that more could be generated through city connections.
Because what it's, I'm sorry, is it 2.4 million?
Correct.
2.4. Is it worth, does it make sense to look at a smaller thickener? And if that outside waste was pared down or whatever, does that make any sense? Is it generating enough income that, well, no, it makes sense to go with the larger and that expense?
The thickener is not the expensive part of the project.
I mean, the apparatus and all.
It's the building, the changing of the piping, the addition of the piping.
Oh.
The equipment, I mean, we've pretty much identified the piece of equipment we were going with, and that's between $350,000 and $400,000 for the one piece of equipment. The rest of it, 1.6 million, is going to be building, piping, which would be for any size of equipment that was put in there.
And just, you know, Councilmember Walker, you mentioned a few times about reducing the amount of waste that comes in, like our liquid industrial waste. We had a water utility subcommittee comprised of city council in 2021,
2019?
2019. And that was something they looked at. You know, why do we have outside waste coming in? Why do we have a septic receiving station? You know, we should just have residents do this. And the conclusion they came to is they would have to raise rates more aggressively on residents. I would encourage council to view the outside waste coming in from local facilities and industries and township residents who have septics and they have to have their septics, you know, pumped and then dumped at us. It is a business model. And we are able to take that money and kind of buffer our current residents from some of these increases. Because it is all the pipes and the processes at the plants that's really expensive.
Okay.
So, the size of the equipment is based on engineering recommendation of what they see we need to be able to thicken the sludge that is generated.
Yeah.
I mean, otherwise, we're gonna end up in the same situation. We can only thicken so much, and then the rest of it's gonna be thin, so, why do something halfway?
Yeah, okay. I was looking at it the other side of, well, yes, it's always an advantage to make it more solid, but does it justify the 2.4 million at this point? No.
I had a sub-question for Doug on the same topic. If we were to no longer be able to do field applied and had to press to solid, would this
No.
be something that would be needed for part of that process?
It is, the manufacturer makes both, but the thickener is not able to be used as a sledge press.
I didn't say use as a sledge press, but would be part of the
No,
process
it
to
wouldn't.
feed a sledge press.
Either piece of equipment, they like to take the thin sludge and bring it up to wherever they're taking it to. So a sledge press would not take the 6% this would generate and go to 16 to 24. A sledge press would want the 1.5 to 2% that would be going to the thickener as well.
You're good? Any other questions? All right, thanks, Doug. Now I'm like, we have
A motion and
No, motion.
support.
yes, yes.
Not a vote yet.
Yes. I'm like, all right, that was a long discussion. I'm like, did we already? Yes, we did. All right, so we have a motion and a support on the table. All those in favor of adopting Resolution 25.29, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Moving down to 11C2, which is the other side of this. I don't think you have any other.
Correct. There's no staff report.
All right, so request to adopt Resolution 25.30. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 25.30.
All right. Support. All right, it's been moved and supported. Any further questions on this? No? All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. All right, moving down to 11D1 is a request to adopt Resolution 25.31, adding Sherman Street in the River Ridge Plat to the Act 51 certified millage inventory.
Thank you, Mayor. Earlier this year, we approved a development plan at 500 Delano. Part of that development plan is the extension of Sherman Street. It's going to be 42 single-family homes that are going to be constructed there. The road and the utilities have been constructed and inspected by city staff. We are prepared to accept those and put them into our public road inventory. To do that, we need to adopt a resolution adding them to our Act 51 certified mileage inventory. This will result in the city receiving approximately an extra 1,000, not 100, an extra $1,000 a year through our transportation funds.
All right. Can I
Any
get a,
questions for staff?
all right, can I get a motion to adopt Resolution 25.31?
I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution 25.31.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any further discussion with council? I see none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 11D2 is a request to approve PO 26-0837 to Wonsey Tree Service in the amount of $34,145 for annual tree trimming and removal services.
Thank you, Mayor. As part of our annual tree trimming and removal services, we go out to bid in the fall or late summer. We had 5 firms submit bids to us. Of the 5 firms, 1 submitted an incomplete bid. That would have been Cut Right Services. Therefore, we are recommending that we go with Wonsey Tree Service as the low bid of $34,145.
Any questions for staff?
Yes, real quick. Can you remind us how is that determined? How are the trees determined?
The trees are determined through an inventory process that's done by our Department of Public Works. We typically receive complaints from residents about trees that are dead or dying, and they're afraid it's going to fall on the sidewalk or on their garage or their house. These are only public trees in the public right-of-way or park trees. Our DPW also notices the trees when they're out and about mowing parks or doing leaf pickups, et cetera. Or, when we have a heavy storm like we did a few weeks back and half a tree collapsed at Rossman Park. We added that to the list. So that's the process for doing this. We do work with a certified arborist if we are unsure, if we get to one of those trees where it's like, maybe it is, maybe it's not. One thing for council, I'll just remind you, a tree can look healthy from the outside and be completely hollow on the inside. The one that fell at Rossman Park was completely healthy on the outside. And when that big trunk/branch fell, the entire inside is hollowed. We had one down at Hanson Park 2 years ago that fell on a picnic table. And it was completely healthy on the outside, but when it fell, it was completely hollow on the inside. So unfortunately, sometimes trees just die.
All right, can I get a motion to approve PO 26-0837?
I'll make that motion.
Support.
Okay, it's been moved and supported. Any further questions from council? All right. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Moving down to 11E1 is a request to approve accounts payable and payroll.
It is requested that the city council approve accounts payable in the amount of $638,893.86 and payroll in the amount of $255,331.23 for a total disbursement of $894,225.09. Motion to approve.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any questions, council? No? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 11E2 is an update on current code enforcement initiatives in the city.
Thank you, Mayor. Ryan Berza, who wears many hats at the city of Allegan, endeavors to give an update on a quarterly basis to council on what's going on with code enforcement. Mohammed and him, every 2 weeks, drives throughout the city as they presented in the past. So far, May through August of 2025, a total of 74 code violation letters for blight have been sent out. 95.9% of them are brought into compliance. The city is currently working with 2 of the properties, and then 1 property is just ignoring us, so we're looking to escalate that issue as we speak. In addition to the code enforcement blight letters, we have posted 289 long grass violations. Of the 289 long grass violations, 23 of them had to be abated by the city. Ryan is right now handling the videography for us as we live stream our meetings, so he asked me to handle the report for him today.
All right, thank you. Any questions? And
Roger, real quick. What's a duplicate abatement? What does that mean?
Where do you see duplicate abatement? Oh, the yellow one, yeah. So 201 Race Street, which is a vacant house that this council is well aware of. We've had to go mow it twice after noticing it. Nobody lives at that house. The owner passed away last December. So until we go through the court process to demo it, which we already have the court demo order for that house, and then we just received the asbestos and lead inspection. So we have the environmental reports as well. We're going out for bid, hopefully this week or next week, to get quotes to demo it, and then we'll bring it back to city council to see if you want to spend taxpayer money to demo this house.
All right, thank you. 11E3 is a request to enter a contract with Allegan County Legal Services in the amount of $2,500 to assist in providing legal assistance.
All right, I'm going to invite Linda Teeter up to the microphone. You've seen her before. She's already gone over a large presentation for you. But since they are making the request, I figured it'd be appropriate for her to be at the microphone to answer any questions you may have. Linda, for your information, they received all copies of the pie charts in their packet, but this is the only copy that we put in the PowerPoint
Okay,
to show the breadth of services you provide, or your organization provides.
we do. And thank you, Mayor and council members, Mayor Pro Tem. I'm glad to be here again representing the Allegan County Legal Assistance Center. I do want to introduce some board members that are with me. The Honorable Margaret Baker, who's here, Circuit Judge. Preston Pisak, who's a board member. He also lives in the city. And Jennifer Rodenbush, who is our Director of Operations, and I'm glad that they're here. Thank you for the time. As you know, the Legal Assistance Center is located in the Allegan County Courthouse. We are now located on the first floor, so you can walk right in and come to the window. The Legal Assistance Center provides free legal assistance to all Allegan County residents for civil matters and persons who reside or have cases in Allegan County courts but don't live in the county any longer. You can see that is your pie chart from January 3rd to September 15th, 2025. And you can see that City of Allegan residents come to the Legal Assistance Center for a broad range of civil matters. There was also one in there that talks about income. 76.7% of the City of Allegan residents who come are ALICE, have income according to ALICE criteria, and then there's also one for age. So I come to you to ask that you would consider a contract with the Allegan County Legal Assistance Center. And Mayor Dye, I'm glad, or Manager Dye, I'm glad to have had the opportunity to meet with you. And it is the request is for $2,500. It would be from whenever it's signed, if you vote in favor, to June 30th, 2026, the end of your fiscal year. And we would come back probably around April and do an annual report that says from the date that it was signed until that time, similar to that, how many people were assisted, et cetera. So I ask that you consider this and vote favorably for this contract, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you. Any questions?
Only one. I saw in our latest state budget that they increased legal aid by $400K for the next fiscal year. Do you guys get much from the state at all?
I was actually just talking to the judge about that. That was Michigan Legal Help, which is a nonprofit. They're the ones who, Michigan Legal Help is an online platform that can be accessed through a computer. So we do not get legal aid money. There was also one in there for Justice for All Commission, but ACLAC is not included in that. We're a 501c3, and so we raise all of our dollars. We do have 13 other contracts with municipalities right now.
Is there any other questions?
And I just want to say, our Mayor Pro Tem, that's good, because I read that budget too. It's 808 pages.
I didn't read the budget, I was just looking at the
Oh,
summary.
I see.
I was reviewing the summary that the governor
There you
put out,
go.
and I was like, for the state roads, because
Yeah.
that came up earlier in
Yeah.
our presentations. The only other comment I would have is, I do enjoy that the courts have started some live streaming, but I would suggest you shut off your chat, that you don't have your chat active on your live streams for the judge.
We have a judge here.
Yeah, that's why I'm making that comment. It's probably not the best thing to have that on, but.
I would be happy to answer any other questions. Thank you for
Yeah, thank
consideration
you.
of this contract.
All right, thank you. All right, can I get a motion to enter into a contract in the amount of $2,500 with Allegan County Legal Assistance?
I would make that motion.
Support?
Okay, so I moved and supported. Any further comments amongst council?
I will just say that I think it's really nice that our county has this. I know that working through probate, even someone who I actually do legal documents every day, like working through probate on your own is confusing, you know, if it's something that you're not used to. So I think this is really great, and I did want to point out, I mean, a large portion, like she said, are Alice population, but they're also like middle-aged, but there was a large section of senior citizens. So it's something like people just can't afford attorneys, and so this is nice to have.
Thank you. All right, so there's a motion on the table. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, 11E4 is a request, you're welcome, is a request from Allegan County Heroes for use of the Griswold Auditorium at a reduced rate on October 30th and November 1st for their annual fundraising event.
Yes, so as Kim Pullen, the organizer of the Allegan Heroes event, comes to the podium, just a little information. Her request was included in your packet. This is an event that's been going on for many years.
I believe it was 2009 that the variety show started, and the organization started early 2000s.
Beautiful. And the Griswold has played host as the venue for all of those years that the event's been going on. And so the request before you is for a reduced rate for use of the Griswold. We do have a nonprofit policy for use of the Griswold. It's my understanding that Allegan Heroes isn't a registered 501c organization.
Up until recently, we worked with the American Legion, and we are looking for a new nonprofit to partner with.
Yeah, so just for some information, that's why the request is coming before you rather than just following the Griswold policy of a reduced rate that way. In the instance of other events that are hosted at the Griswold for a reduced rate, there is the $200 charge for use of light and sound operator at the Griswold. That just covers some of Ryan Burza's time there. And this is a October 30th rehearsal and November 1st event. And then if Kim has anything else to fill in, she can do so or answer your questions.
If anybody's got any questions for me.
What has been the rate the prior years? What was it last year?
Last year, there was the $200 rate for the
light and
use
sound.
of the sound and light. There have been previous years where it has just been free as well.
Okay.
Do you know just how many military have you guys been able to send packages to?
Oh, goodness. I do not have all of the numbers from the beginning. I know last year, between veterans and servicemen and women, we served around 40 individuals. And for about the past 5 or 6 years, that's been a pretty average of what we've been able to bring our services to.
Is there any other thoughts, questions, council? for a motion? Mm-hmm. Yes. I need a motion in an amount.
Yeah, I'll make the motion to request for Allegan County Heroes reduced rate. Is that 200?
200, it will cover light and sound, a portion is what I heard.
Right,
Right.
correct. It's, for the other organizations, it's per date as well. So,
Okay.
for like example, we host the Allegan Brass Collective for the Allegan District Library. The Allegan District Library is allowed free use of the Griswold, but that $200 fee is non-negotiable. And so for their Friday night rehearsal and the Saturday night performance for the Allegan Brass Collective Christmas concert, we charge per day in those instances.
Is that more of the norm?
Correct.
All right, go ahead. Sorry, Carl.
Maybe we should amend it to 400?
You, or you could say 200 for each day. However you want to word it,
Yeah, 200 per day,
for a total of 400.
yes.
All right. Can I?
I'll support.
All right, so moved and supported. Any further discussion amongst council on that? All right, do we have a?
I'm sorry, just, what did we do last time? I'm sorry. We did just 200 total?
200 per day, correct?
Last year was
Last year?
200 total.
Oh, 200 total.
All right, well, we do have a motion on the table.
Just depends on if she needs lights and sound on rehearsal. Do you
Yeah.
need lights and sound on rehearsal day?
We use it for about 2 hours each day.
All right, well, we either have to, there is a motion on the table, so we can,
I don't have any other discussion.
all right, okay. All those in favor for the motion on the table, which is $200 per day for a total of $400, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Aye. What was the split? Okay,
Excuse me, I'm seeing 3-3.
Yeah. So motion fails.
so it dies. All
So
right.
so at this point, we can do an amended motion?
Mhm.
Okay. So I will make an amended motion that we charge just the $200 for both days.
Support for that.
All right, it's been moved and supported. All those in favor with the amended motion of $200 total for the 2 days, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Okay, 11E5 is a request to adopt Resolution 25.32, approving a social district permit for Another Mother LLC.
All right, I believe I can handle this. Earlier this year, City Council, you approved liquor license application for Another Mother, which is co-owned by Alex Wilkening, Cylene Wilkening, and their partner whose name escapes me. Ryan Wall. During the application process with the state of Michigan, we realized that we need to also approve a social district permit, so they may partake in our social district downtown once they're up and running. So that's what Resolution 2532 accomplishes. One of the owners, Alex Wilkening, is in the audience this evening, so he's able to come to the podium if you have any questions on their proposed restaurant and how they plan on using the social district.
Joel, is it usually like this far in advance?
Yes.
Okay.
Alex, do you have any words you would like to?
I don't have any words,
but I can All right.
stand here if you have any questions.
Any questions for Alex? No? How are, well, as long as I have you, can we
Sure.
get a little update on how things are progressing with the
Pretty good.
building and all
Um,
that?
Yeah, so we're in final phases for all of our mechanicals, electrical, and plumbing. Should be finished up with electric and plumbing end of next week. And so we'll just be waiting on inspections for those. Hoping to have final building permit inspected and closed out maybe by Thanksgiving, a little bit earlier than that. I'm working on flooring right now, I mean, everything is as good as it can be. We're behind schedule and over budget, like everything else, so.
Oh, I appreciate already the new look of everything you've done from the exterior.
Thank you.
Yeah, seeing that building, seeing light of day in the front is something I've never seen in my lifetime,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's great.
It was a big day to get the windows in,
Yeah.
I'll tell you that. Definitely changed our perspective on the project a little
Yeah,
bit,
yeah.
so.
I've told you before, but thank you for investing in Allegan. I
No problem.
appreciate it very much, so.
We're happy to be here.
Yeah, all right. Well, thanks, Alex. Can I get a motion to adopt Resolution 25.32?
So moved.
Support.
Any further discussion amongst council? No? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 11E6 is discuss the process to fill the city council vacancy.
Thank you, Mayor. Ball's in your court. You have 35 days to appoint someone. That falls on Wednesday, October 29th, 2025. These are the 7 applicants that submitted applications. Those were all shared with you on Monday night or on Friday night last week. We did have one gentleman from the township submit an application, but we had to let them know that they don't qualify because they live in the township. And then we had another person withdraw their application last week, and I believe they emailed the mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, when they withdrew as well, so.
I don't know, I mean, this is for us to discuss how we want to move forward. I do not know I haven't had a chance to talk to anybody, but about interviewing, what thoughts are on that?
I mean, I liked the suggestion that we have a special meeting. I would say, well, depending on their availability, I would say that process should probably happen this week or early next week. And then, I don't know, maybe we have a special meeting where we discuss it and make a decision. And then that way we would still have time to announce it at the next meeting. Is that how we would?
Well, I do like the idea of the ranking. I want to interview too. I'm like you. I think we're going to have to, next week is planning commission, so we can't do it early next week. I just think with other, is planning and public spaces next week?
Just planning.
Planning is public spaces this week then, right? What, no?
No, public spaces was not held because there was no
Oh,
quorum
okay.
for the regular meeting.
Okay. So I was just like, yeah, I was looking at calendars going, okay, is Thursday a better day to, ask for people to come in for this? But I don't know how everybody else feels about that. And I did like the idea of rank voting. And we could do the rank voting at the regular council meeting, correct, Joel? I mean, it doesn't have to be that same day as the interviews.
Yeah, I mean, you can do it how you want. It has to be done during a public meeting. It would be my recommendation, I mean, since I'm allowed to give recommendations per the city charter, it'd be my recommendation that you rank them during that meeting and you select them during that meeting so they can be seated at the next meeting.
Oh, that's
Personally.
true. Otherwise, we would miss another
Yeah,
meeting
you'd miss
with
another meeting.
Art Council.
Yeah.
All right. All right. I mean, looking at the calendar, I was thinking the 23rd, but.
I'm just looking at some of them.
What's on the 23rd? I mean, if we did it this week,
Would a week notice be enough, like the 21st?
we could do that too. 21st.
Already have a meeting at 4. Steering committee for the rentals.
Oh, do you?
Yep. Just depends
Well-
on what time we want to do this meeting.
Could we do them, so if you guys are already here at 4 for the rental, for the steering committee for the rentals, and there's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 people, could we start them at 5? 5 5:30? Then
Yeah, I
gives
work
these
at
guys-
5, yeah, I work till 5.
Gives everybody a chance to get out of work and get here. 21st at 5:30, and then that would be, staff would contact the applicants. What about, is there I've only done this one other time, and then I wasn't here for the actual interviews. Have you ever done it, Peter?
I have not.
I didn't know if there was a set of questions that were provided.
Yeah, we can bring those up. So if I'm reading the room correctly, I'm expecting there's gonna be a motion made
For,
to schedule a special meeting on October 21st
at 5:30.
at 5:30 to direct staff to develop the agenda and interview times for the 7 people that have requested, and for staff to develop the list of interview questions to share with council prior to that meeting.
Yes. And.
Just so you know, the city manager cannot make a motion.
Right, I'm
Just so we're
I'm
clear.
asking questions, so
But develop, like, you already
Yeah.
have them, you don't have to, like.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I can go dig up what we did in,
it was
18.
20, yeah.
I think it was 18 when Mayor Stokemeister moved to North Carolina.
Yep, so were they like 30-minute time blocks? I can't remember, or were they 15,
I think there were 20,
20? Okay. well,
but
at
it's
least
like every
we're-
30 minutes is what we do the scheduling.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Is everybody, yeah, all right.
Sounds good.
Anybody want to make the motion to schedule special meeting?
I will make a motion to schedule a special meeting on October 21st, 2025 at 5:30 PM to interview and select a new council member and to direct staff to, I don't remember it all, direct staff to
together
create
the
questions and to notice the public. Or, yeah.
Support.
Or
All right, it's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion passes. Thank you. 11E7 is a request to authorize city staff to develop a request for proposals and solicit proposals to develop a city-owned parcel on Lowe Street into housing.
Thank you, Mayor. Recently, city staff has been in conversations with several development companies looking to utilize LIHTC, which is low-income housing tax credits, to build housing in the city of Allegan. This is a very competitive program run by the state of Michigan. They just recently released their scores, and I can only assume that Allegan must have scored very high in that list of scoring, because we've had 3 separate developers contact us, 2 from out of state and 1 from in-state, scheduling meetings with me, phone calls, video conferences, tours of the city, et cetera. One of them that we've talked to, when we were driving them around showing them properties, I made an offhanded comment, we have a 2-acre parcel that's contaminated, and they said, where? And I'm like, it's on Lowe Street near our industrial park. They're like, can we drive by it? And I'm like, yeah, you heard me say it was contaminated because it's a housing development. And they're like, that doesn't scare us. We develop contaminated properties all the time. There's a way to do it. And so we did the drive-by. They are excited about this parcel. As part of that LIHTC process, you can get additional points if it is part of an RFP process with a local unit of government, instead of just buying it on the private market or just buying it outright from the city. So they inquired if the city would be interested in going through that process. It's a process that we did similar for 101 Brady, so it is something we're comfortable with. In the staff report, I shared an example, I believe is Port Huron, what Port Huron did. So when I look at your goals for the, throughout the years, and it's always comes up with, continue to attract new housing, commercial and industrial development. To me, this is a goal that we're working towards, is attracting new housing. So to me, it was more of a no-brainer. I don't see why anybody on council that believes in that goal would be against us doing this. It is an RFP. Anybody will be able to bid on this parcel. But I do need city council to direct me to go that process with this parcel. Because earlier this year, you entered into a contract with a realtor to market and sell all of our properties. I've already talked to that realtor and said, hey, we're gonna take this one out of the pot right now and see if we can land a different kind of fish on this one. And so what I need from council is, a motion to authorize city staff to develop a request for proposals and then to solicit the proposals to develop that parcel on Lowe Street into housing. Keywords is into housing. So
Okay.
it's not gonna be, anything but housing is what the proposal is gonna be.
And you said like the preference would be like low income, like
Yeah, it's a light,
apartments or
it's a light tech project. We have a handful of light tech projects in the city already.
All right, any questions of staff? No? Okay, can I get a motion to authorize city staff to develop the proposal?
I'll make a motion for city staff to develop an RFP and solicit proposals to develop the property on Lowe into housing.
Support.
All right, so moved and supported. Any other discussion among council? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 11E8 is a request to approve the combination of parcels 51-280-001-00 and 51-200-057-00.
Thank you, Mayor. This afternoon, we received an application from PCI for a lot combination. These two parcels, one has frontage on North Main Street. It's that odd-shaped parcel you see there outlined in blue on the screen and also in the report. And then the other parcel is that larger one that's more of a rectangle shape that does not have street frontage. They are owned by both the same individual. Somehow, the small parcel has a house on it, and the large parcel has a garage on it, even though you can't build a garage on a parcel as a principal use. So I'm not quite sure how that was accomplished, but nonetheless, here we are. Kathy Rooster, who is the owner of the properties, is requesting to combine them. Staff is in full support of combining these parcels, just so it will comply with our zoning ordinance and building codes. And I appreciate the council was able to amend the agenda so we can move fast on this one tonight. Any questions for staff?
Right, can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion that we combine the two parcels.
All right,
Support.
all right, it's been moved and supported. Any discussion amongst council? No? All right, seeing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. All right, I'm going to move down to agenda item number 13, which is the second public comment portion of this evening. If you have a public comment, please approach the podium, state your name and address. I am seeing no public comments, so I will go ahead and move down to agenda item 14, which is communications from the city manager.
Thank you, Mayor. There's a few things I want to bring to council's attention this evening. First is, in regards to the Griswold Auditorium, we have no qualms or issues with, council making decisions on what the rents they're going to charge for events there. It is a very expensive building for us to maintain. We lose money on it every year, but that's okay. It's a public facility. I do want to encourage you that the Lions Club and the City of Allegan has partnered last weekend and this weekend to put on a play production there as a fundraiser for the Griswold. So we are going to be receiving money from that. When they did it 2 years ago, the city received about $5,000 from that fundraiser. The show is this Friday at 7 o'clock and this Saturday at 7 o'clock. It's Escanaba in the Moonlight. It is hilarious. I went last Friday with my wife. Our own Parker Johnson has a leading role in it, and he is quite hilarious up there on the stage. And then my son, Jesse Dye, also is in the play as well, even though he lives in Kentwood. He still likes to come down to Allegan and support Allegan events. So you can really come down here and enjoy, that and help raise money for the Griswold. The Halloween Hoot and How, we haven't met with you since we had that event. That was our first year toe in the water, trying to do a fall festival. I would say it was a very big success, both with Friday night and Saturday. Our total revenue through this for profit and everything was, this one, was $518.01. I want to thank, a lot of the businesses did their own thing. ATEC partnered with the city to do a Saturday, what I'm gonna call 1950s, one-off, scary kind of movies there. I got to go sit down, see the first one. That was a great experience, to the point where I'm thinking we need to improve the sound system a little bit better in the Griswold when we do movies. It might have been the DVD. It was a little flickery, but it was a great experience. Saturday night, there was a ghost tour that happened downtown. When the people involved with that told me they're gonna do it, I'm like, cool. When like 10 people do it. They had over 200 people go through that. Mayor Tracy Perigo volunteered to be one of the leads. I saw Councilmember Hooker down there to walk through it, but that was overwhelming with the support, and that was all free will donation. So they raised $257 just on people throwing money in a hat at the end. So that was really, really exciting. You may have noticed a giant pumpkin that was glowing on the riverfront. That was Ryan Berza and Parker Johnson's idea in the summertime. I told them no, because it was expensive.
We did it anyway.
They did it anyway after Milbacher and Sons stepped up and gave us a $1,000 donation.
Correct.
So we used zero public dollars to make that happen. Milbacher was wonderful. Parker went out and got a fundraiser for it. And that, I think, was a highlight of the weekend as well. And I look forward to us doing it again next year. We're going to be rolling into Festive Fridays or Small Business Saturday, the Saturday after Thanksgiving, and then Festive Fridays right after that. So we're getting into our event timeline again as we rush to the end of the year. And that's what I have to share with council this evening.
All right. Moving down to agenda item 15 is the roundtable discussion from council and mayor. I'm going to look this way. Councilmember Westover.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm all set.
All right. Councilmember Walker.
I have nothing to say.
What? All right. Councilmember Canales. Councilmember Hooker.
I just have one question. The Give Better, are we seeing any traction on that? Like, I clicked on it the other day, and just curious if we're getting anything. And then also, like, when you click on the Parks and Rec part, like specifically, I was trying to donate to the Trestle Bridge. Like, is there a way to, like, say specifically if you want to do that something?
So to answer that question, as of right now, no. We just have the parks as kind of its own thing. I think the only one that's broken out is the splash pad. But otherwise, the parks are its own general category. But that's something that we could do, is break down further each individual park. And I shouldn't say the splash pad's the only one, because sports complex is its own, and I think the cemetery is its own as well, if you want to consider that a park. We have had some traction. The Regent Theater received a $100 donation from an individual who scanned the code in the lobby of the theater a couple of weeks ago, and it wasn't a name that I immediately recognized, so I don't know if this person was a regular. I don't know if this person lives in the city, but they were feeling generous enough to give $100 directly to the Regent Theater, so that was good. And then in the next week or so, we should have signs going up at each location that'll be printed and displayed at each givable location, including all of our parks. But they'll all have like that generic banner right now for just give to the parks budget. So
I mean, it was good. I like walked in and saw it there and
Yeah.
instantly scanned it. So yeah, if we have those all over, I think it'll be great. And then I just want to remind everybody that Councilmember Walker and myself will be at Mugshots on October 24th from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. if you'd like to come and chat with us over coffee.
Mayor Pro Tem Hans.
The only thing I had was the sidewalk being completed on Water Street by the light, but I see that Consumers was actually out pulling the wires when I was leaving work today, so hopefully we can finish off that sidewalk.
Thank you for the update.
All right. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the Hoot and Howl. I think it was great. I love yeah. Yes. I mean, Mayor Pro Tem Hans is the only one I skipped over one time. And I think just the organic growth of the businesses and that doing their own thing was great. And I want to thank Aaron Dye and Deb Adams. They were the two that wrote all of the ghost stories that we did. They organized everything. They did a great job. And also want to, whoever built the phone stand for the pumpkin photo op.
That was all Ryan Berza.
Okay, that was a hit too. So I'm like, we need those phones. I'm like already thinking like for Christmas, that phone stand can be used for.
Oh, yeah.
For, getting the great photo op there at Christmas time, so. And that is all I have. So at 7:21, I will adjourn.